You've probably heard the phrase, no two snowflakes are alike. This time of year, depending on where you call home, you're probably preparing for a frosty winter. And if you've ever watched a snowfall, you've probably wondered if each snowflake really was totally unique as it fell to the ground. It turns out the snowflakes are actually, in their purest form, identical. Researchers placed two snowflakes and found that they had the same intricate patterns, but that doesn't mean the snowflakes we see are identical. Each snowflake faces its own turbulent path as it makes its way through the atmosphere. Every twist, every turn, every gust of wind, it all gives snowflakes their own unique symmetry, even though they started out exactly the same. You probably see where I'm going with this. And just like snowflakes, we are all on our own paths, having been shaped by various experiences, be it from teachers or from our parents. We meet people that we like or we don't like, and perhaps growing up in small towns or in a suburb or a large city, all of these experiences shape you into the person that you are now. And this is a beautiful thing because in this present moment, the moment you're in right now, you are, realize it or not, a reflection of your influences. But what happens when some influences we no longer want to reflect? Or when we're going through some transitions in life, hoping to offer ourselves a better reflection? Or maybe those times, no matter how hard we try, we just feel stagnant, stuck, not who we want to be. What do we do then? Well, let's find out. I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. Just think, a snowflake goes through a radical transition from a crystal seed to what we shovel out of our driveways, or get hit in the face when your kids are throwing snowballs. Under the right amount of pressure and under the right conditions, you too are capable of your own radical change. We might not look or feel like the people around us as we transform, but it's beautiful to have our own unique ways of living and experiencing the world. When you think about your greatest influences, who comes to mind? Maybe you had a teacher who believed in you for your talent in writing, or a friend who supported you through a really hard time. Sometimes those influences aren't people at all. When I was 5, I started playing the piano after watching Sha Na on television, which eventually led to my career as a pianist. So maybe TV isn't so bad after all, but it's the books we read, it's the music we feel in our bones. Even taking care of a struggling plant, like I'm trying to take care of this bonsai on my desk. These things can be deeply influential. Unfortunately, not all influences are positive, but instead of judging yourself or your past, think about how tough times might have made you who you are now. Sometimes it's the most difficult experiences that teach us the most about ourselves. The old adage comes to mind, would you rather be delivered or developed? Chew on that one for a little bit. Would you rather be delivered or developed? One of the best ways to remind yourself of this is to think, how would I be different without the influences that I've had in my life, good or bad? You know the movie Back to the Future? I know, it might be a little goofy, but just sit with me. Think about Marty McFly. His life wasn't going so great. His parents were in a bad place, and he was worried about ending up just like them. And when he accidentally went back in time, he meddled with his parents' teenage lives to the point where he almost prevented himself from even being born. Sometimes in life, we are the way we are because of the people in our lives, and that's okay. If you had a time machine to alter your past, you might not have been born, or at least you might not have had some of the qualities that you possess today. So understanding how unique you already are, this can help you make the changes you want in your life. Try this. Ask a friend, and it's got to be a really good friend, someone that you're not going to get upset with and that they're going to be honest. Ask a friend how they see you, and then write it down. Write down what values and qualities you'd like to have, and visualize the changes that you'd like to make. Just like the snowflake transforming with each direction of the wind, keep in mind that as you go through this transition, as you go through these steps in wanting to become a better person, you aren't going to change overnight. As you're in the process of growing, of becoming, give yourself some time, some grace even. Go easy on yourself. Encourage yourself. Nobody wants to feel stuck in a rut or in emotional limbo. So remind yourself that you're a work in progress and you're capable of becoming who you'd like to be. Another thing to embrace is learning how to hear and hold on to positive words. Have you ever had a moment where someone gave you several compliments, but maybe in that same sentence, one was just a little backhanded? In moments like these, try to filter out the negative. When kindness comes your way, invite it in, whether it comes from your inner voice or from someone else's. I have the most difficult time accepting compliments or praise. I just do, but I'm getting better at telling myself, hey, they're offering you kindness. Just accept it, receive it. And if words of praise make you as uncomfortable as they do me, limit yourself to a 2-word reply. Listen to this. Thank you. That's literally all you have to say. No need to elaborate or diffuse or redirect or tell them what nice shoes they're wearing. Just thank you. Believe in their kindness and trust in it more than you believe in the negative thoughts. This is how you can connect with others, and it works both ways. When you speak kindly to others, they're more able to connect with you. Sincere question. When was the last time you complimented yourself? I know, it sounds bizarre. What can you say to yourself right now that would be kind? Here, I'll give you a compliment. You are doing an amazing job at wanting to better yourself just by listening to this podcast. Had you not said to yourself, hey, I want to be in a better place emotionally or physically or even spiritually, you would have never started to begin listening to this. So smile as I say, thank you for listening to this podcast. And that while the step may seem insignificant that you've taken, it's a step that you took in making a better you. Do you see how easy that was? So again, when was the last time you complimented yourself? So if I may ask you to repeat after me, really, I know it's silly, just try it. Yay, me. That was fun. How do you not smile at even just saying that to yourself? Because it even seems silly. But I might start saying that more often because, geez, that felt really good. All right, one more time. Yay, me. You're trying. You're doing one step at a time, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and sometimes you feel silly, and sometimes you feel like you haven't moved an inch. But a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, you'll turn around and you'll say, oh my gosh, I see the growth. I didn't see it at the time, but I see the growth. Planning for the future and setting goals can be an overwhelming task, but it's okay to let yourself be stagnant for a little while. Winter has its purpose. As spring eventually comes, a new growth begins, but it's taking those steps, those tiny little celebrations, those tiny little yay me's that are going to hold your hand until spring comes. Sometimes all it takes to prepare yourself for a season of spring is to ask what or where you see yourself. When you spend quiet time alone with yourself, you're giving yourself space to figure out what changes you can make. To hear your thoughts more clearly, you have to do nothing. I'm going to say that again. To hear your thoughts more clearly, you are going to have to do nothing. And once you really know what you need to do, trust your intuition. Then begin doing the things that you know you need to do. And it can be as simple as reaching out to friends more, or as big as picking up and starting a new job somewhere. You know yourself better than anyone, and you know what baby steps you need to take to become who it is you want to be. Just like how snowflakes are carved through wind and turbulence and turn into uniquely patterned ice, you too are complex and unique. You have gifts that are entirely your own. You have a view of the world that is yours to hold on to. Even if there are things about yourself that you don't like, they're yours to toss out, to improve or just work through. But when you keep all the qualities you like about yourself and set aside the ones that no longer serve who you're wanting to be or that reflection that you're wanting to represent, you're molding yourself into an even more unique and wonderful person with a path that is all your own. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, hear the musical playlist from today's episode, or simply wanting to know where to send chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. You'll even find additional resources for emotional support, including our online community and our Facebook page. You're not alone. You are not alone. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized Sweet Tooth. And now something my attorney wants me to say. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and is not intended to, nor should they serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you, and you should only act upon the advice of such physician. Now, what I'd like to say. I am an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this and future podcasts in aiding those needs. To find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And finally, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of emotional health. I'm Chad Lawson, and until next time, be kind to your mind, and join me next week as we calm it down.